7 years after Ryan Murphy gave us the ultimate on-screen-off-screen catfight with Bette and Joan, the Feud anthology has finally returned with a vengeance, this time in the form of Capote versus the Swans. Instead of 1960s Hollywood, the setting has moved to high society New York of the 1970s, where Truman Capote, the celebrated author of Breakfast at Tiffany's and In Cold Blood, is firmly ensconced in this world of ladies who lunch. That is, until he publishes a scathing excerpt titled, La Côte Basque 1965, from his forthcoming book, Answered Prayers, in the November 1975 issue of Esquire magazine. Capote doesn't just dish on his darling lady friends, whom he dubbed, the Swans, he spills his entire teacup. Suddenly, Capote finds himself iced out by his beloved coterie, which forms the main conflict of Feud, Capote versus the Swans. The FX Limited series is based on Laurence Leamer's 2021 book, Capote's Women, a true story of love, betrayal, and a swan song for an era, though executive producer Murphy, lead writer Jon Robin Baitz, and their team do rely on other sources to bring the drama. Capote versus the Swans' tagline, the original Housewives, deftly hooks its 2024 audience with its promised catty moments, of which there are plenty. But if you're sitting there frantically Googling these glamorous 20th century society doyennes and others who appear in Capote's orbit, rest assured you're not alone. Read on to find out how faithful FX's production is to its real-life characters. Photo illustration. Vulture. Photos. Bettmann, Getty Images. FX. While it's impossible for anyone to eclipse Philip Seymour Hoffman's Oscar-winning performance in 2005's Capote, Hollander nimbly disappears into the role of Truman Capote by adopting the writer's distinctive Southern cadence and effete mannerisms. The most recognizable name in Feud's cast of characters, Capote was at the height of his fame when he published La Côte Basque 1965. The excerpt was named for the upscale New York restaurant famous for its French cuisine where Capote's equally upscale lady friends would often dine. La Côte Basque shut its doors in 2004. 9 years earlier, he'd solidified his placement in American literary history with the release of In Cold Blood, a groundbreaking work of narrative nonfiction investigating the 1959 murder of a Kansas farming family, as well as the capture and execution of the killers, that made Capote a bona fide celebrity. Capote, as portrayed in Feud, was also during this time the close confidant of several well-to-do New York housewives. By revealing their deepest, darkest secrets in the Esquire article, the acclaimed writer committed social suicide. While he had been talking up Answered Prayers since 1958, Capote notoriously missed the book's numerous deadlines, despite accepting hefty advances. Answered Prayers, the unfinished novel, was published in 1987, 3 years after Capote's death in 1984.